Welcome back to the workshop, guys. I'm Kyle, and today we're joined by our Director of Sales, Christy. Christy, thanks for joining us.
Morning, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Christy's coming on because every year we tend to talk about how to sharpen hunting knives, and Christy's got a pretty awesome story to tell about how she got into hunting and why she hunts. Christy, share a little bit with us about what got you into hunting.
Thanks for having me. It's hard to believe I've been here 12 and a half, almost 13 years, but about the time that I started at WorkSharp, I really had an interest in going hunting and spending time with my family. But my interest early on was going to cook because I love to cook, and just getting to spend time at the cabin with my family and just be part of the experience is really what first kind of drew me in and got me spending time in the mountains each year.
Yeah, I think that's for a lot of us, like, it doesn't start like, oh, I'm gonna go learn how to hunt. It's just like the family element of it. It's like getting together to go out and do something as a unit. So you just went to just start up, you're gonna cook for everybody, right?
Yeah, that was really where it first started out, was being able to go, I mean, again, spend the time with the family in the woods. My dad, my brother, my adopted uncle, and some of their friends would just get together each year. And it was something that I wanted to find a way to be a part of. And early on, I also realized I had a neat opportunity because my dad is legally blind and hunts with a disability tag. And so with the disability tag, it enables my dad to always have someone with him that can take a shot for him. So if he doesn't have a clear shot or can't see well enough through his scope or the open sights on the muzzleloader to be able to make a clean shot, he can then pass that on to whoever is with him to make sure that it's a clean, ethical shot. And so that was the kind of the next step for me, was like being that person for my dad. So not only being his shot, but also his eyes going down the trail and all of that. And so that really developed the desire to want to be a part of this, and that's really what's continued me going back every year.
What a cool way to not only get out and learn hunting, but also to like spend that time with your dad. Like you guys are in tandem working together the whole time to bring in these animals. That's pretty awesome. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. And like my dad's Bruce, we call him Papa Bruce. He's 6'4" and he's not a little guy, and he's where I get my clumsiness from. So you can imagine the two of us when it's still like almost daylight, traipsing through the woods, sometimes on a trail, sometimes not, and like learning how to communicate to be like, Dad, look at this, like without speaking, because of course, you know, we don't want to be
trying to be quiet,
super loud when we're out there. But that's really been like the fun of it, is like figuring out how to communicate, but also to navigate. Like I was not good with a GPS or maps. My dad's like, oh yeah, we got to go over there. I'm like, where is there? So like figuring out the electronic piece of it, and then also getting good with the maps to be able to figure out like, okay, if we're here, how do we get there in the shortest route possible?
Yeah. That's awesome. So it's more than just the hunting aspect of it. It's learning to navigate, get around. And yeah, I, as someone who's also pretty clumsy, I can relate to clunking around in the woods, that's for sure. So you've harvested a couple of animals, right?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate because we do DIY public land hunts here in Southern Oregon, and the success rate is pretty poor, to be honest. But I was lucky enough, it's been a while now, but in 2016 with my dad, I harvested a 6x6 Roosevelt bull elk. And then in 2017 with a muzzleloader, harvested a cow elk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I still have yet to harvest an elk, and I can attest to, yes, it is very difficult to hunt this area. I had a special situation where I got to be on like an orchard last year.
Okay.
And private property. I thought, oh yeah, they're gonna come in and eat the pears. I'll get it. Never saw elk. I mean, I saw the sign. Never. They're like ninjas, I swear. Yeah. So you've harvested a couple of elk now. Talk to us a little bit about what that looks like as it relates to getting a sharp knife and how you break down that animal in your experience.
Yeah, for sure. So of course, with working at WorkSharp, everyone expects that I can produce a sharp knife, which thankfully I can.
I imagine you've sharpened how many knives? I mean, you've been over here a decade. So.
Yeah, I mean, early on in like doing demo days, we would do easy 500 knives in a day at a public event. So I feel like I've seen a lot of different stuff, but usually before elk camp, we even like get together. Everyone brings their knives over to get them like prepared, because for anybody that's hunted elk or any large game animal, between the skin and the hair, it dulls a knife super quick. So we always like to get everything started off sharp. And And then usually at camp at the cabin, or if we're out in the field, I've always got a sharpener with me. And when it comes to breaking down an animal, we've usually done it at the cabin, or we've taken it back to my parents' property. And so we've got power and use an electric sharpener and just keep sharp knives going. So as we're doing, the prep in the field to then be able to quarter, and then also just, the skinning part in and of itself is a lot of work and takes a lot of sharp knives.
Yeah. So what does that look like when you're talking about with the power situation? Imagine that's easier. So in my mind, I sent a sharpener to some guys that do like a hog hunt, and they're like, man, we get a lot of hogs and constantly trying to break them down, but having access to power to be able to continue sharpening those knives. I don't think people realize how quickly their knives get dull when they're going through that process. Until you're able to continue sharpening throughout the process.
Yeah, you bring up two good points there. So there's the power situation, and also a hog, similar to most anything, they get dull super quick. So like for us, there's a couple different options. Like our family, we typically hunt with a knife that you're going to resharpen versus a exchangeable blade. But starting with a sharp knife and creating something that will actually hold an edge is a good place to start. And then keeping like a plethora of knives is really the other key for us. But like when we're at the cabin, we don't have power, but we run off a generator, and even like with our sharpeners off of a small generator, it powers it fine, and I'm able to keep going, and then always keep something in my pack for touch up.
That's a good tip too, as far as like, instead of having one knife you have to go back and sharpen, and like you're off and on and off and on, have a few knives so that you can pass it off, or you can be sharpening and somebody can be in there working on the animal.
We're usually always with a group, or like in our case, if somebody calls and says they've got an animal down, everybody comes and helps. And so there's typically multiple people there at any given point in time. And so we're able to run through and make sure we've at least got a sharp knife at any point in time.
That's like one of my favorite parts about hunting. It's just like the community that comes together around it. If you get an animal, it's like everybody wants to pitch in and help. They're driving up to get up there and help you get the animal out or get it broken down. It's probably one of my favorite parts of hunting, is that feel of community when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, I would agree. The community feel, and then like the other thing that we do and a lot of hunting parties do is like, we're there for the experience, and also, if we can, the beauty of filling the freezer with meat that we know where it came from. And that's the other part. If somebody comes and helps, the exchange is that they end up with some of the harvest, so we can all enjoy it together later.
Yeah, I'll have to come give you my number for the next time you get an animal down. Get some of that meat.
Fair enough.
Right on. So of the sharpeners that we have, what would you recommend as, what would you bring into the field with you, and what's your favorite for sharpening those knives when you prep them?
Again, because I feel like an old timer here, I got my start on the original knife and tool sharpener. I have one that is from like 2012 that still stays in my pack, that goes to the cabin. It's what I use. It was a special run, off color. It's been around, but just because of not only the ease of use, but the speed to be able to go through and sharpen 10 to 12 knives all at once. I have an affinity just because that's really where I got my start. And then in my pack, I usually always keep a guided field sharpener with me, because it's super lightweight and it doesn't make noise. And again, like, I have enough stuff in there. I don't need something that takes up a lot of space or is noisy, because again, I make enough noise traipsing through the woods.
Yeah, me both. All right, Christy. Well, thank you very much for sharing that story. What an awesome testament to how you got into hunting, how you do it with your father. I love that. And it makes me think there's probably a lot of people that have a lot of different whys they're into the sport of hunting. And if you guys want to talk to us about that in the comments down below, we'd love to hear some of those stories. Why do you hunt? What's the community aspect for you? Is it to be with your family? Is it to get away from everyone? Do you like to get up there and get alone? I mean, there's a lot of different reasons people get into hunting. Get in there, drop a comment, let us know. Christy, thank you again for coming on and sharing your story with us. Good luck this season to everyone if you're already out there hunting, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for having me, and shoot straight, everybody.
Right on.